Hey guys, welcome to another top 10 list and Merry Christmas. And to celebrate the Christmas season, let's talk about the overrated and underrated movies of 2022. I apologize if you hear any background noise. There's a Christmas party going on downstairs and there's a huge snowstorm that with crazy winds right now outside. So, hear any crazy noise, I apologize, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys because I wanted to talk about the overrated and underrated films. Mostly overrated. I even said when I did my worst movies of the year, there's a lot of overrated films. A lot of films that are very praised by a lot of critics, even audiences, and I just didn't get it. Didn't get the love. Didn't understand what people saw in these movies. But again, that's the beauty of film criticism. It's all subjective, it's all opinions, and this is all just my opinion. Like, some of these movies, a lot of these movies, made the top 10 best movies of the year for a lot of people. And for me, they didn't even come close. Some of these actually made my worst of the year. So this is just me. I'll do the underrated after. Underrated, not as fun. Overrated's always the funnest. So, all right, I'm gonna get ready for some of the hate. This is what I think. It's my list. This is what I think are the top 10 most overrated films of 2022. Number 10 is Ambulance. A lot of people will probably think I put this at number 1 because it made one of the worst. It made my top 10 worst of the year. The reason it's not number 1 is because this movie isn't fully praised. It's like in the high 60s on Rotten Tomatoes. Some people just think it's an okay movie, but a lot of people aren't completely shitting on it. There's a lot of people. The reason I'm calling it overrated is because a popular opinion to say that this movie is underrated. A lot of people are calling this the underrated film of 2022. Fully disagree. This movie is terrible. The editing is terrible. The acting is terrible. The story is terrible. I can't stand this movie. I'm not a Michael Bay fan, so people are saying this is like the return of Michael Bay. I'm like, I don't even know if he had a start, let alone a return, but I was never a fan of this movie. People like it. Good for them. Not for me. Number 9. Glass Onion, the Knives Out sequel. Is that what it's called? A Knives Out mystery? Is that what it's called? Fun fact, I was never even a huge Knives Out fan. I thought Knives Out was a okay movie. I'm not a Ryan Johnson fan. I know everyone's going to probably be thinking of Star Wars because of that. I'm like, kinda, but I don't know. I liked Looper. That's it. This movie is just... This movie is a cartoon. I thought all the characters were way too cartoony. The movie is more of a comedy than a mystery. The mystery is so easy to solve. I don't know. I didn't like it. I wasn't into Daniel Craig's character. I didn't even like his character in the first film. All the new characters they brought in were just unlikable jackasses, kind of like the first film. The mystery... It's very easy to solve. I thought it would be maybe like a Clue, like the movie Clue. I love that movie. It kind of tries to be like Clue, because Clue is very cartoony and silly, but Clue's super funny, and Clue has a great twist at the end. This movie isn't funny, and it doesn't have a good twist at the end, so why do I give a shit? People seem to like it. I'm the minority on this one, so what do I know, right? Coming to number 8 is Prey. I don't hate this movie. I really don't. I don't think it's actually that bad of a film. We're talking about overrated movies. We're not talking about, like, movies I just hate and stuff. We're talking about overrated. People are calling it, like, the best Predator movie. Like, yeah, everybody was saying the movie Prey was one of the best Predator movies. Even better than the first one. I'm like, really? It is an okay action movie. And that is such an unpopular thing to say. That I think it's okay. The lead girl, she's okay. The Predator stuff is okay. The action is okay. Some of the side stuff, a little boring. It's okay. But because people are calling it one of the best Predator movies, best action movies of the year, it's a bit overrated. Sorry. Number 7, The Woman King. The most historically inaccurate movie, and everyone's like, well, that's the point, and well, you can't hate a movie for being historically inaccurate. Look at Django Unchained, or look at Braveheart, and look at all those other movies that Tarantino's done that are very inaccurate. Inglourious Bastards. thing about those movies is that the Tarantino ones is not meant to be historically inaccurate. They're meant to be extremely fictionalized versions of it. And even if they are fictionalized versions, it is not insulting to the history. This Woman King is insulting to the history and insulting to the slaves that were sold during this time period and making the slave owners the heroes and everything. It's insultingly historically inaccurate. It's not just historically inaccurate. It's disrespectfully historically inaccurate. That's why I didn't like the Woman King. Moving on. Number 6, Turning Red. I don't know. I don't know what people saw in this movie. I don't know. This movie was fucking awful to me. The animation was pretty good. I get what they were going with its symbolic interactionalism. I get what they're trying to say. But my fucking god, is every character in this movie either insufferably annoying or beyond unlikable. Like, I could not get invested with this movie. And a lot of people say, like, oh, it's about a teenage girl, you're a boy, you can't relate to the girl problems and shit like that. And I say bullshit on that. Bullshit. A great movie is Inside Out. That is about emotions, but also a young preteen girl. And I related a lot to Riley in that movie. The stuff she goes through is very universal for a lot of people. It's about change and moving to a different location, missing your old friends. A lot of issues everybody can relate to. This movie, very limited people can relate to it. And even if that were the case, if you made the main girl likable and enjoyable, but she's not. She's annoying. And all her friends are annoying. And her mother's annoying. And everything about this movie's annoying. I think it is the most irritating Pixar film ever made. It's not the worst Pixar film ever made. It's just the one that annoyed me the most. And I know a lot of people really dug this movie. That's great. I, for sure as hell, did not. Anyways. Number 5, Bones and All. This movie was really disgusting. It might be the other one that's kind of like, I think Timothée Chalamet. I think Timothée Chalamet is a great actor. But I think he is so overused in everything. It's like, anytime someone makes like an artistic film, or like an Oscar film, or a serious drama, they're like, get Timothée Chalamet on the phone. He needs to be the lead character. He needs to be the mopey teen guy in our movie. This movie is not for me. It's written by Luca Guadagnino. I like some of his movies. I really enjoy Call Me By Your Name. I think that's a good movie. I think the Suspiria remake is it's kind of creative. It's got some cool stuff in it. But not every movie this filmmaker does is very good. And this is definitely not a movie I'm a fan of. It's literally about cannibals. And they're eating and killing people, and they're the heroes of the movie. And then it's about them how they're getting shunned from society. I'm like, well, no shit. It's so hard to like these people. It's like it's a horror romance. And a lot of people are comparing this movie to like Only Lovers Left Alive. And I could see where they're coming from. I enjoy Only Lovers Left Alive. I think that's a very good movie. Very underrated film. That's a better movie, though. And that movie doesn't portray its characters always as likable and stuff. And I don't know. The way that movie did it just did it better. The characters were more interesting. And it wasn't trying to be like this sympathy kind of movie. It's just, I felt like Only Lovers Left Alive was like a slice of life kind of movie. This one was like, oh, it's a tragic romance, and feel bad for these characters, and oh my god, why can't they just live in society and stuff? I'm like, they can't. They're cannibals. It's like, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the shtick. People liked it. That's cool. Wasn't for me. Number 4, She Said. This could have been a gripping story. I thought this would have been like another like Spotlight. because I love Spotlight. I think Spotlight's a very good film with some really solid writing and very good performances by the entire cast. This one, not so much. I feel like everything that I was afraid Spotlight would be happened in this movie. When I first saw Spotlight back in 2015, I was always afraid that Spotlight would be a very boring movie, and just maybe the conversations aren't as interesting, and I'm not getting invested with the characters and what's going on. That's exactly what happened in this movie, not in Spotlight. I think Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan, they're both good. Nothing great, but they're good. And the story they're trying to talk about is an important story, and it can be very interesting. It's just not, though, in this movie. It's just kind of paint by numbers, Oscar baity kind of movie. I knew where the movie was going, and that's it. I knew where the message of the movie was going. I knew all the stories. Nothing kind of blew me away. It was very underwhelming. And when the movie was over, I was like, huh. Okay. That was a movie. Unlike Spotlight, where I was floored in a lot of moments of Spotlight. There were just a lot of conversations and scenes and just character interactions I was just so invested with. And there was also things, like little subtleties in Spotlight. I'm like, huh. Like, there's certain things characters do in that movie. It makes them more intriguing. And like, oh, why are they saying this? Why did they want that to happen? What's happening here? This movie is not. It's just journalism's investigating, doing interviews. That's the movie. And that could be good enough for some people. Just, I wanted them a lot more. So for me, it was very disposable. So, wasn't a huge fan. Number 3, X. X gon' give it to you. Gon' give it to you. X gon' give it. I'm sorry, I had to do that. Rest in peace, Mr. DMX. X, didn't like it. Stylistically, I think it's impressive. Kind of the low budget feel. Feels like a very old school, like 60s, 70s horror film. Feels like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a way. And the filmmaking wise is very impressive. Hated the story, hated the characters. It was too odd, too weird. I never saw Pearl. I just didn't care. After seeing X, I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to see Pearl. Because Pearl's just like a prequel to X. I'm like, I didn't even like X. Why the fuck am I going to like Pearl? It's just not for me. That's simple as that. Didn't find it that scary. Didn't find it that enjoyable. Stylistically, it was pretty cool. That's it. Moving on. Number 2, Enola Holmes 2. I didn't even like the first one. Why did I watch this one? Because everybody said that this one was better than the first. And it will finally make you a fan of what Enola Holmes is. To those people, you're idiots. It's just as shitty as the first one. If you like the first one, fine. You're going to love this one. Millie Bobby Brown as a female, young female Sherlock Holmes is a stupid idea. It's like Harriet the Spy. Remember that fucking movie? That's what Enola Holmes is. Stylistically, Harriet the Spy. And this movie was stupid. The mystery was stupid. The comedy was stupid. I still don't like these characters. The characters from the first ones are in this one, and they're just as annoying in this movie. This didn't make me a fan, so what are you all talking about? Number 1, Tar. I guess people really love insufferable tones and annoying sound mixing, an irritating lead character, and very confusing credits. I don't know. I hated this movie. I thought I was in agony watching this movie. It was 2.5 hours. I wanted the movie to end 20 minutes into the film. I'm like, do I have to sit here and watch the rest of this shit? And I did. It's not like Whiplash. I know some people are like comparing it to Whiplash. You're insane if you think that. Whiplash is a great movie. J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, fantastic movie. Want to watch another movie about music teaching? Watch Mr. Holland's Opus. That's another great movie. This movie sucks. Cate Blanchett is great. That's the only compliment I'll give this fucking movie. I hated The sound, it was either so loud or so quiet. I didn't know what the hell they were saying in this movie. And I was in a theater with big speakers by my ears. And I can't hear what these characters are saying. I hated the opening. I thought it was so clever. Like, oh, the end credits are the opening credits. Genius. I'm like, so what? That's not clever. I'm sorry. Oh my god. But I just, yeah. Hated this movie. Everyone knows it. A whole review of it. Tar. Agonizing. Anyway, so that was my quick little top 10 overrated movies. I'll get you some love with the underrateds in the next video. Maybe you guys will like me then. But let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 most overrated films of 2022? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.